Kill Team, Ashes of Faith. And this is one that the scalpers didn't get. Hello and welcome to The Lucky Roll, an eclectic channel for eclectic games. And today we're going to be unboxing Warhammer Kill Team Ashes of Faith. Now this is a unique box of Kill Team because it actually has a narrative campaign to it. So essentially you're playing a load of Inquisitors that are hunting down Chaos Cultists. Now if you have a look here on the back, you can see that there is a huge selection of minis here. Some very nice things, including the actual cultists. So you'd have 3 tiers of them. You have the mutants, you have the torments, you have the dark commune, and the devotees. And as the game plays on, obviously the cultists will morph and become more and more difficult as you go. You have here a list of inquisitorial agents. Now, unfortunately, you don't get every single one of them here. 1 or 2 of them will have alternative builds, so if you wanted to get the full inquisitorial agent set, you would probably have to buy 2 boxes of this, and given that it sold out within 20 seconds on online, it's highly unlikely that you got 2 boxes unless you were a scalper. Now the reason I got this box is I went through my local friendly game store, and anyone who's watching this who missed out, I'd always urge you to try and support your local mom and pop bricks and mortar store, because you always have a better chance with them because they have the distribution, they have the contacts, and not only that, you're supporting your community, you're supporting your local gaming community, and you're helping mom and pop stores. Anyway, lecture over. We have the Inquisitorial agents, we have the Tempest Scions that come in with it, and you have 5 Sisters of Silence. There's also a lot of other interesting things in here. You have the location cards, campaign cards, 6 game boards, which I'm interested in looking at, and a reusable marker sheet. So there is a kind of a narrative campaign to this, which makes it unique amongst all the other kind of Kill Team releases so far. What I would suggest is, if you do get it, don't turn it upside down straight away, because you'll get a sprue that'll pierce the box like it had for me. The second I literally got this, I tossed it over a bit too roughly, and one of these sprues, designed obviously to protect the minis, had actually cut through and pierced the outside of the box. But with no further ado, let's open this and see what we have inside. So, opening the box for the very first time, we are greeted with sprues. So we have a lot of different sprues here, all in kind of tri-pieces, which is interesting, which of course will fit into, I presume, I hope, other bigger boxes going forward. So we have quite a lot of sprues here, including one large piece which has what looks to be a Cadian or an Inquisitorial flag here. We have the actual sheet itself, so the protection sheet is just the Warhammer symbol, so there's no actual picture of the box cover here, which is a bit of a pity. I thought that's kind of a nice kind of cover art for some of the boxes. Nevertheless, we also have the Ashes of Faith book, we have the instruction sheet, and we have some of the campaign cards. We have the actual player boards here, which are nice and big, and there should be at least 6 of them. We have the Inquisitorial cards here, which is a separate deck. We have all the bases. We have a transfer sheet, which is interesting. It says Horus Heresy transfer sheet. So I presume this is to do with some of the actual cultists. Now, we have here the Space Wolves, Tactical Squad knee pads, Terminator shoulder pads, Sisters of Silence, and a Terminator Sergeant. And Terminator shoulder pads here, excuse me, and 1000 Sun markings here, so perhaps there's a bit of a touch of Magnus to this rather than just the Legion. We also have here what I presume are the reusable markers and reusable sheets. So you have Chaos symbols, Inquisitorial symbols, and I presume the sectors that you are clearing here all across the way. So what we'll do is we'll go in reverse. So I suppose we'll start with the cards here and just have a look to see what we have here. So opening this deck of cards, which has a fairly cool little inquisitorial symbol on it. The cards themselves are of okay stock. They're not top tier plastic sheeted covered decks, but there's certainly nothing wrong with them. But you can see that they obviously had to cut some costs with the amount of minis and stuff they packed in here. So they cut it where they could, like in terms of the actual box and in some cases the cards here. So we have here a little symbol of a hand and the Cathedral of the Eternal Pyre, persuasion benefits. So that's like Sector E3, Sector D1, secure tree transport hub. So depending on what's happening, you have different sectors that you check out. You have investigation rewards. So the investigation rewards obviously have the eye symbol, which I presume is the inquisitorial one. So adrenaline overload. So we also have inquisitorial symbols here as well, which is ruse, ruse, and more ruses. All the ruses, even more ruses. We have symbols of what are cultists. We have what is possibly an inquisitor. A very nice artwork, actually, to be fair. What I'll do is I'll turn these around because some of these look quite nice. So you have control, persuasion, investigate. You have some beautiful artwork. So I presume these are the cultists that you reveal. Now this, I have to say, I am very impressed with. That is absolutely stunning artwork of some of the actual cultists that you have on play here. There's a lot of cool little things here. So this is nice. So that's, I suppose, a nice signifier as to what you were facing. But also it helps internationally because you can print one set of cards for many regions. So we have all the ruse cards here that we were looking at before. You have more control, persuade, investigate cards, and you have other symbols, which these could be the inquisitors, I'd say. Yep, you of course have here a commissar, so another kind of inquisitorial agent. So these, I have to say, are very nice. I quite like these a lot. And we have more ruse cards here. So some interesting things here in the actual card deck, which of course come with their own little card box. So that's fine. If you wanted to separate this game of Kill Team from your other kind of games, you can. I'm hoping this is a success, and I'm hoping that this is a good game, because the idea of campaign games in Kill Team quite intrigues me. We have here, we've checked the actual sheet, so the next thing we'll look at is the actual boards. So there seems to be a lot here to this, so I'm just going to cut it here. Now the boards themselves are singular. They're good quality. There's nothing wrong with that. You obviously have different boards. So this is similar to this and is similar to this. So it's the same board 6 times over. So I don't know if that means that there's 6 players, or perhaps it's for 6 different regions. So I presume this is what you actually apply the stickers to and how you update accordingly. So you have 6 of those boards that are quite interesting. We have here the actual rulebook and other cards. So we'll just cut this out and have a look. So the cards here are elongated ones, so they're actually bigger than the other ones. So these are possibly the story or narrative cards. We'll have a quick look. So the Avenue of the Fateful Acquaintance. So I'll just zoom in here so you can appreciate it a little bit better. So this long promenade runs through Deepwell's heart. Those who walk it must cast their eyes down to avoid being driven mad by the siren storm unless they find shelter from above. So they have nice little touches of lore here. You have the grand spires of Saint Helena, the storage of Macrophane Alpha 6, and it has specific mission rules on the back of these cards. So you have the actual sector of all these places, and you have the mission rules in the back. So I won't go through these because I don't want to spoil things for people. But so I do like the fact that the mission cards come in a completely separate deck and are elongated with a little bit of lore and a little bit of information here on the back as well. So it's a nice little setup. The books themselves should be straightforward. It's not a hard back cover book. So we have the Kill Team book itself, you have the campaign rule book, and you have the actual instruction sheet. So the instruction sheet should be interesting because there is quite a lot to it. Now, fortunately, it's in color, so some of these will have different variants. So as you can see here already, there's two different variants you can have for this Inquisitor. The servo skull comes in its own little piece. You have two variants here as well. You've either a quest keeper agent or a pistolier agent. So this was the only critique I heard about this box beforehand, is that you can't make all the Inquisitors. So you have a choice between these two here, and you have a choice between these two here. So you have a choice between the Enlightener agent and the Interrogator agent. You also have a choice between the Death World Veteran agent and the Penal Legionnaire agent. So hopefully in the future a separate Kill Team box will come out, so if you're desperate to play the other Inquisitors in this or make and paint them, you can do so. There's also an alternative build here for the Mystic agent and the Hexorcist agent. So one has kind of got Krusty the Clown type of hair, and the other fella has just got a big cool Inquisitor staff that you can bonk fellas with. So it's unfortunate. So this is what you can kind of make from these figures, but you can't make the whole retinue. You have, of course, the Sisters of Silence, which have their own little variants, but it's nice to have Sisters of Silence in plastic. You have here the Tempest Scions, so again you have different variations that you can make here. And we have, of course, what are the other stars of the show, which are the cultists. So I'll just zoom out on this because you have, I think, nearly the full choice with the cultists, because they obviously throughout the narrative campaign will mutate and turn into some various nasties, including fellows with wings and fellows which have just extra legs. It's kind of like the bug is bursting out of the person. So quite hideous, but also very cool. The campaign rulebook, we'll have a quick thumb through. The quality of the book it's okay, it's nice. You have a nice little bit of lore here. So I'm just going to zoom out so we can see it a little bit better. So as you can see, there is a nice setup, an introduction, kind of talking about the area, the situation, the chamber, the overview. So we have an Inquisition deck and a Chaos Cult deck. So obviously it's a two-player game. You have the different stages. It goes into kind of territory rules, all the various sectors, the campaign missions. So we have a few different ones, and you have the Fate of Deepwell. So obviously, depending if you win or lose, the Inquisition will thrive or they will fail, and it either is retained by the Imperium or is given over to Chaos. So, yep, a nice little straightforward campaign book. The actual Kill Team itself, Ashes of Faith, is a plastic covered sheet. It's not hardbacked over, but it does come, again, with some more information and lore. Talks a little bit about the Inquisitorial agents, and it also has the ancillary support. So one of the cool things here as well is that you're not stuck with just the Tempest Scions. If you have other kill teams, such as the Carskin or the Veteran Guardsmen, which I'm fortunate enough to have these two, I can use them as my actual Astra Militarum support rather than just the Tempest Scions or the Sisters of Battle. The Imperial Navy Breachers, for example, are a gorgeous looking kit of models that I'd love to try. You've names and demeanor, so of course you can kit out the lads and kind of go with a little bit extra on the actual lore. Goes into details here on the cultists. Now, as you can see, there's some magnificent little kind of model possibilities there. It goes into the rules, various stats on the actual specific models themselves, and it goes all the way into the Sisters of the Silence, the Tempest Scions, the rare equipment. So obviously that as you're going along, you're leveling up. You have different attack ops, a Chaos Cult Kill Team, and you have the actual cultists themselves with their own stats, their own equipment, and some sheets that you can photocopy here at the back to kind of make a record of the actual game. So this is something I'm very much looking forward to playing and trying with my friend Thomas. So that is the actual book themselves, and the last thing to look at, of course, is the actual sprues. So we'll have a look at some of the pieces here. Now, this is something I did not expect to see, which is a flag sprue. So this is possibly attached to the Tempest Scions, I would imagine, because I can see their backpacks here. A kind of a Power Fist gauntlet, different bits and pieces here. You have, of course, an apothecary box here. You have flamers, you have various daggers. These could be kind of part of the inquisitorial aspects or the officers, but this seems more like a Tempest Scion kind of sprue because it's a big wide one. You have all the head options here, you have various chest plates, lots of different weapons, kind of obviously the usual las rifles, but there seems to be a couple of flamers and meltas in here as well. You have some slung rifles, which looks pretty cool actually. I quite like the look of these. We'll just zoom in here on this. So it seems kind of like a covered or weathered rifle for, I don't know, wet terrain or something like that. That's a pretty interesting looking rifle. I really like the look of that, the fact that it's covered. You have the legs of the Scions and things like that. So this is the actual double sprue. So the Scions come with the double sprue. Everything else comes with kind of a singular sprue like this, which would fit in a standard Kill Team box set. So this one, of course, we'll put this out the way so we can have a bit of a better look. Has what I presume are the cultists, because I can see the cultist symbol here. So as you can see, there's lots of lovely little variation here, various improvised weapons, various symbols, bolt pistols, like kind of a machete with kind of chain machete, which is what that kind of looks like actually. It's got a serrated edge on the back. You have the usual bolt pistols. Yep, you've definitely got unmistakably a kind of a cultist here. So you also have kind of horn helms, things like that. So it's this is obviously the first kind of level of the cultists where, you know, they're still practically human. I think this is possibly the second stage of the cultists, because as you can see here now, they're starting to morph with kind of protrusions and things coming out, little horns. The robes are getting more tattered. I mean, absolutely top quality plastic. I mean, these things are, of course, they're brand new. Actually, they're 2022. So maybe they came out before that I didn't see, but nevertheless, they're still practically as new. I mean, the fact that they were made in 2022 means that this is still top of the range. So the latest in the GW's technology and skill set is here in the construction and making of these actual sprues. So a lot of lovely things here, including this very big, huge Chaos staff. Same thing here as well, that you have various poses, various things. And one last thing I need to see in this sprue that's quite nice is the actual two-handed sword, which is not something you'd use to butter your bread with. We have an extra long sprue here, which again would fit into a Kill Team box set if you just kind of clip one of the top ones off. Now this one seems to be, I think these are some of the inquisitorial agents, because this is the actual servitor. So as you can see, has a few different kit options here, from say flamers or meltas to just a plain old heavy bolter. You have the chest piece here. You have another inquisitorial agent here with the scroll, of course. So this is the one which has the he's like the scribe or the archivist. And what I do like here is that the scroll part has indentations in it. So all you need to do here is you just put in a plain Rakarth flesh or Xandri dust or something akin that you use to color scripture, and put a little bit of Agrex Earthshade, and all the actual detail is put down there for you. Some of the more talented painters out there use a very pin precision brush and put their own little details, but the fact that they've done it here I prefer, because it was something I was never very good at doing myself. We have plenty of other different options here, various robes, various weapons. Nothing that stands out massively. Of course, these are the inquisitorial agents, so some of them are actually, they can be completely over the top, some inquisitorial agents, but these guys seem a bit sedate, and that they're just basically kind of, they're robed, so they're more kind of like canon priests or things like that in some aspects of it. So the most interesting thing here, of course, was the servitor sprue. The next one is another what I believe is inquisitorial sheet. So this one has a touch of the Space Wolves to it. Let me just get focus. There's a touch of the inquisitorial Space Wolves to it. So we have kind of a wolf robe here. We have another kind of fur robe here with the Aquila on it. We have of course, these are all humans, so they're slightly smaller than the Space Marines that we're all kind of used to. Yeah, just kind of very straightforward kind of female. Oh, this is the Sisters of Silence. This is where I'm going wrong. My apologies. I thought these were more Inquisitors. These are actually the Sisters of Silence. So the Sisters of Silence are very interesting because they're known as kind of nulls or blanks. In 40k, there's a whole kind of psychic backlash, but psychics can be very rare. But what's even rarer than psychics are what are called nulls. Basically, people which just naturally block psychic powers, and the Sisters of Silence are a unit that are especially attuned for just deadening and blocking psychic powers. So in terms of the Inquisition, these would be very useful soldiers because they would stop kind of chaos sorcerers and the ilk from being able to use their magic. So as you can see, a lot of very good details here. Now it is 2016, so I imagine this is the same sprue that came out with a board game that came out in 2016 called The Burning of Prospero, I think, which was when the first Sisters of Silence were released when Ferrus Manus attacked Magnus's homeworld. We have here some of the actual cultists. Now these are, I think, these are the guys that steal the show, because as you can see, they morph into absolute hideous things. So you've got very bloated, very big, very huge models here with massive horns, kind of. These are like, I mean, this now is just one arm that obviously is protrude. So you can see the size of the cultist's arm and the actual replacement arm that has just popped out of his back. So it's these are guys who've been kind of chaos spawned or morphed into absolutely horrible things. So these obviously are the largest bases, but as you can see, you're going to have great fun painting and making these, and these will definitely be a fantastic presence on the tabletop because they're just huge and hideous. And these of course are 2022, so it is of course Games Workshop, brand new or practically brand new, top of the range. A lot of good little stuff here that should be very fun to build, and you get 2 of them. So it's the same sprue again, but you have possibly alternative builds. But as you can see, like this one now was a hideous kind of higgledy-piggledy mass of mess and flesh and bone. So I mean, like, as you can see here, there's a foot here, and you have claws and you have legs. So depending on where the monster is kind of protruding out of the poor cultist is where they develop. But the sprues, of course, are what is best about Games Workshop, because it's just top quality stuff. Something I'm very much looking forward to making and painting, and something I'm very much looking forward to playing. So that, ladies and gentlemen, was the unboxing of Kill Team Ashes of Faith. It'll take a little bit of time to make and paint and to play, but hopefully this is going to be the first of Warhammer's narrative campaigns for the Kill Team franchise. I hope this is a big success. I hope it's as good as I'm going to hope, and if it is, I will be sure to let you know and possibly encourage or beg, plead and pray to Games Workshop to make more of them. So as always, this is Sean from The Lucky Roll. If you enjoyed this unboxing, please like, subscribe, all that good YouTube stuff. And until next time, good luck, God bless, stay safe, and praise the Emperor.